Hi, this is Fifth Dimension with a general reading for the sign of Virgo. I am going to bring forth someone who is significant in your life, who is past, and stands beside you as a guide here on earth. So they live in the heavenly plane, but they stand beside you as a guide, an earth guide here on earth. So this would be someone that was significant in your life. It doesn't have to be a relative. It can be a really good friend that you miss terribly. But I want to bring some happiness and some light to your loss by letting you know who does stand beside you. We are each assigned one. This is different than a guardian angel. A guardian angel is assigned at birth. An earth guide is someone who is significant in your life, impactful in your life, and you miss them terribly. But the good news is they stand beside you here as a guide on earth. So you might feel this presence, the presence of this person. You might already kind of have an idea of who you think that this is. So what I do is, to save your time, is I take about 30 minutes before I turn on the video, and I shuffle and meditate over several tools and things that I use to try to bring forward confirmations regarding this person that is significant in your life. So I have letters that might be representative of their first, middle, last name. I have numbers that might be representative of their birth month, death month, days of the month. You will know after I show them to you whether this resonates with you and your person or not. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get started. Um, I usually pray and meditate and ask the divine to bring someone forward. When I lowered my head to pray, I looked back up, and this beautiful woman was standing there. And she's cheeky, she's funny, she's crazy about the color purple. Always wore purple. I mean, for the past 20 years, or I just ever since you've ever known her, she's always worn purple. She liked red once in a while, but she was just crazy about purple and more of the deeper color, like an eggplant or what is that purple? Passion purple, that those kind of purples. So anyway, she is sweet and she loves you and she stands beside you now as a guide. And I'm going to let you in on a little bit of her story, what I'm receiving intuitively, so that you can confirm, excuse me, that this is in fact your person. Um, I had that she suffered from depression pretty significantly, I think. It caused her to stay home for almost a month, or approximately 20 or 21 days or so. She more or less stayed, when this came on her, she more or less stayed in for 2, 3 weeks at a time, easily. And so it really had a hold of her. She just kind of hibernated in her home. She also could have possibly had cluster headaches. I just heard them say that to me. And that also might have added to the whole situation. But she did receive some medication, um, and it made a change in her life. And she actually felt like, okay, I'm going to be able to get back out there, go shopping again, socialize again, have lunch with girlfriends, catch up with other family members. I've overcome this depression and I am going to move forward now. So she was either put on some medication, or she got a new doctor who tried some new things and they actually did work. Now, she was never ever really able to go back to work. I have a feeling that she kind of hit rock bottom. She had trouble making her rent payment. She had trouble, affording just groceries and things like that. So she hit a really big time rough spot. So even though she got the depression under control medically and mentally, she then had to deal with the fallout or the repercussions of this coming on her on and off, which was the lack of income, loss in finances. It's catch 22. You get treated for depression and then you're depressed because you lose money because you were depressed so you couldn't work. It's just a vicious cycle. I have a great heart space for people with mental illness. And if this is your person and she suffered through this, I am so sorry, because I know as someone who loves someone going through this, it's almost as painful, if not worse, because You can't figure out how to help them. But she did pull herself up. She actually met a man, and he came into her life. He might have had a bird, possibly a parrot, but she did meet a man, and he came into her life, and it brought her happiness. Um, I don't know what happened exactly. Um, she she started to hang around this gentleman, and I see that he passed actually shortly after the last time they got together. So it was like another blow for her. It was just, like, oh my gosh, can she catch a break? But that was all, part of her path and her plan. Um, did she try to get custody of one of her grandchildren, possibly? And was a boy, possibly a girl, but I feel more that it was a boy, and that he might have been, let me see what I feel like here. He might have been around 9 years old, 8 or 9 years old, possibly, but she actually went to court, and she either testified to either get custody of the child, or she testified in the custody of the child. Possibly her son and daughter-in-law, or daughter and son-in-law, were getting a divorce. And somehow she was involved in the court proceedings for this child, this boy, I believe it was a boy. And but I do feel that, she didn't like it that she needed a lot of prescription medication, but she did. I mean, the pharmacy was her friend. I mean, she got to know the pharmacist. They took good care of her. They helped her. She tried to do things like she was supposed to, take the right doses at the right amount at the right time, etc. I had that she always had a love for the firefighters. Possibly her dad might have been a firefighter, or maybe this gentleman that she met that passed was a firefighter or a volunteer firefighter, like we have in my state. But she actually would make cookies or contribute to a bake sale, or just bring sweets by the firehouse. And but she appreciated them, and they appreciated her. So that's something very specific to her. All right, so I went ahead and also pulled her energy as a person. What kind of energy did she have? Well, she was a deep thinker. Oftentimes, I am not a medical professional in any way, but I have at different times in my life suffered with depression, and I believe it's a result of me overthinking. And she was guilty of this also. She overthought things. She was very strategic and efficient and analytical and a deep thinker, but sometimes it would bite her in the ass. I mean, to, just cut to the chase. I mean, sometimes it just made something small that she was trying to overcome seem much bigger. So, that was definitely something that she struggled with. But she preferred not to talk about her feelings. She just internally dealt with them herself. She went to the doctor. She didn't, she wanted their help. She wasn't someone. I think that she complained a little bit regularly, but she really, when it got real severe, honestly, when she was complaining a little bit regularly, her depression wasn't that bad. When she stopped complaining, that's when it got bad. So you might have felt a little irritated, like I do. I have an elderly mother, and sometimes I'm so thankful to have her, but sometimes she complains about all the little things. When something big happens to her, I notice that she gets real quiet. So I actually need to pay more attention to the big things that she's quiet about. This woman had the same kind of mode of operandi, for lack of a better word. And that's kind of, how she coped with things. Um, so when she got quiet, you knew you needed to stand up and help her a little bit. But other than that, she really tried to take care of most of this on her own, and felt like a burden because of it. I will tell you that. But I love her choice of purple. It is a beautiful purple. I see it. I call it passion purple. It might be a little lighter version of that, kind of Barney purple, or a little deeper than Barney. But anyways, you get what I'm saying. I just love the passion and the love of the color purple. So I also asked the divine to please let some numbers and letter cards come out that were significant to her. So I'm going to show you what fell while I was shuffling. I haven't looked at them. Oh, I see a word. I do like when I see words. It's really cool. All right, so I have OHR, which is or. I don't know. Maybe she liked to kayak or canoe, possibly. But anyways, even if this isn't supposed to be a word, these are letters that are possibly, I'm hoping, and it has happened many, many, many times, that these are representative of her first, middle, and last name. So I have VHORA. All right, so these, don't force them to fit, but think outside the box. She might have lived on hover. If you look here, HOV, and I would assume this would be ER, the word hover. But here, hover, this could be her street name. That's what I'm saying. Don't force things to fit, but think outside the box. Or these could be representative of her initials, first, middle, last, maiden name, etc. All right, so I hope that confirms it for you. All right, let's get to the numbers that came out that were representative of her. Like I said, think outside the box. These could represent her birth month, death death date, or other dates that were significant to her, or an age that something significant happened. I had someone tell me they had a car wreck at 16 and the number 16 was out, and that car wreck changed their life, so it's considered a significant event. Well, same thing here. This could represent August, the 11 could represent November, the 10 could represent October, and the 15th day. So October 15th, November 15th, August 15th, August 10th, August 11th, etc. So don't force it to fit, but think outside the box. These numbers should be significant and representative of her in some way. All right, and I'm going to do one last thing. I'm going to reach up here. I have a bowl of marbles. I meant to grab it before I got started, and I am going to pull an eye color, a marble that represents her eye color. All right, so she had beautiful blue eyes. So they were definitely on the lighter side. And maybe when you looked at her, that was the first thing you noticed were her beautiful blue eyes. That's beautiful. All right. And then I pray to the divine and I say, I ask if this person could say anything to their Virgo loved one, what would they say? And I have a beautiful deck of cards. I call them my Stairway to Heaven cards, and they're usually really sweet, kind of emotional, but things that you need to hear. I mean, you can't physically talk with this person any further, but you can spiritually. You can through prayer. And now that you know that they are your earth guide, you can talk to them when you feel their presence next to you. If you feel it, you're not losing your mind. They are by you. So one of the things that she said is, if I had only known then what I know now, I would have lived differently. If I had only known then what I know now, I would have lived differently. And you will know what that means. She wants you to know I am surrounded by loving animals. So all of her pets from the past, she is with in heaven. I was looking down at my cards to see if I see a lot of pets. I think I see dogs and I see cats. And like I said, she met this gentleman that had a bird, or possibly she got a bird. Might have met this gentleman at the pet store, or they may have met through this parrot. In the sense of like purchasing things for the parrot or buying from a breeder, but she loved animals, and I do see a bird on top of that, on top of the small dog's head. All right. She wanted to say this to you. I had to leave that way. And I don't know what that means. Only you will know what that means. But it's definitely, these are her words to you. I kind of take this card too as, do you see, you can hardly see it, but there's a person here, a person here, and a person here. And this looks like mental illness to me. I mean, this just looks like someone struggling to keep their mind and their thoughts grounded. And as we know, I do believe that's what she suffered from pretty significantly, to the point that it affected her quality of life, ability to earn income, and things like that. So she said, I had to leave that way. So I don't know what that means. That's between you and her. But these are the things that she wanted to say to you. So she's surrounded by her loving animals. And if she had only known then what she knows now, she would have lived life differently, but that's okay. She still loves you and misses you, and she stands beside you here on earth as an extra level of love and protection. So I hope that this brought some light and healing to your grief. I'm so sorry for your loss. Please hit subscribe. I'm trying to grow my channel so that I can reach lots of people and give a little bit of relief and a little bit of sunshine to some dark situations. So I love you, Virgo. Thank you so much for your time. And if this didn't resonate, view my past videos, or when you hit subscribe, hit the notification bell, and that way you'll be apprised of my next videos. One of these are going to resonate. Pray and meditate and bring the person to me, and I will bring them out. All right? I love you, Virgo. Bye. From the fifth dimension.